Welcome back, our love reviewer from a short breather. We are still discussing matters of national importance. We are discussing politics vis-a-vis economy, and I believe that our policymakers and implementers will pick a thing or two up. I'm still with my guest, Mr.Challenge, the procurement officer, and he's going to discuss for us now the political part of it, see how politics and economy live together to improve the country. So, my dear guest, if I may ask, first describe or first tell that viewer who is watching what a political economy is.
Thank you so much, our dear viewer. When it comes to politics, I know I'm going to amalgamate with the economy.
Yes.
Why? Because these two go concurrently.
Definitely.
And once one is affected, the other is affected. Once the other is affected, the other becomes sick.
So you are
so
telling
they
us
are
that
like twins.
We can't have economy alone and politics alone. We must have them
In the
work.
current setting,
Yes.
of course,
Yes.
you must know that we cannot have economy alone.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, who is going to run the economy?
Politicians.
So we must be ready that as politics is being discussed, we already know that politics, economics is being discussed, and so a political economy, that is it's like a term. In simple terms, it is a term to describe the policy set by the government that run the nation's economy. In simple terms, they're like policies. A political economy, just policies, because at the end of the day, these policies are the ones that run the nation's economy. Without the policies, the economy cannot be run.
Okay. How does politics influence the economy?
How does politics influence the economy?
Yes.
It's as simple as that. Now, this is a very broad question. Our dear viewer must be able to know and understand when we say that economy and politics go hand in hand. Now, when you say affect, that implies it's either positive or negative.
Yes.
On a positive bit, how does the politics influence the economy? I have clearly stated that this politics helps put in policies that under which the economy shall thrive. Without these policies, we're going to see our economy scrambling to fall. You look at, I wanted to give you an example of an economy where Libya, where politics has not been stable. Haven't you seen the downfall of the great?
But someone can give an example that Russia's politics are not stable, but the economy is still strong.
Russia has a very good political system. Even though it is autocratic, even though it is more or less of a dictatorship, Russia's economy is stable. I give you an example of Uganda. Is Uganda's economy scrambling to fall? Do you see it anytime, any day that it's going to fall?
Because when we look at the debt burden we have, and the rate of corruption you talked about in the first part,
now
we cannot predict what is happening tomorrow.
As a man, in this economy, I can estimate maybe 60% of the men in Uganda live with debts. Because what we earn is not what we want to earn. You get? Now, Uganda, as I stated earlier in our first half of the show, that in this, our economic situation, where we are landlocked, where our products produced are going to be consumed mostly by the local market, not by the international market. The ESC and the COMESA, where we fall, are the only ones that are going to accept our commodities. It's Congo and South Sudan that mostly consume our commodities, maybe more or less like Rwanda. Then we should be able to know that our economy is not so stable. We cannot make the high levels of GDP. I also clearly stated in the first half that Uganda's GDP has been improving by only 1% per capita for the past 11 years. From 2011 to 2022, we have only been increasing by 1%. So if our per capita by 2021 was 833.89%, what is our per capita now? As I stated, it's increasing by 1%. That is 0.01 per year per capita.
Now, when we look at our politics as Uganda particularly, we well understand that Uganda is a developing country. But we have a lot of money that is being splashed in politics. A case in point, we have political crisis in public party political parties. If we can slightly talk about FDC, which is recently in political crisis. FDC is funded by Electoral Commission, is given some money by the Electoral Commission. When business at FDC is not going well, that means we are somehow, somewhere affected. So how do you think such can be dealt with?
The first question is, how much does the Electoral Commission release to the party, and how often do they release that money? The first thing you should know is, the money that is being released to these political parties is not enough money to run the political parties, given the activities they do within the country. Now, FDC is in a political turmoil because of individual gains. That's what I must say. I'm not trying to take sides in a political party which I'm not affiliated to or in any way. But at the end of the day, you can clearly look and
as
see
an economist, you are just analyzing.
You can clearly look and see and understand that yes, at the end of the day, there are individual gains being fought for here. Because if one party wins, that means the party either stands, or if the other party wins, that means the party falls. Or should we say it's going to be like the UPCs? Is it going to be like the DPs? The question goes back to the FDC fighters, the ones who are fighting for the right cause. Are they willing to proceed and say that this is our party? It has stood for the truth for the past 21, 22 years.
But don't you think a lot of money is channeled in politics rather than being invested to improve the economy?
Anyone does anything to ensure they get what they want. If my interest is to drive a Lamborghini, that means I have to search for money in every possible way, or in a better way, to make sure that I drive the Lamborghini. That means if money is being invested so much in these political parties, that means there is a cause of which they are being injected. But because if you look at your voter system, before you release money, I'm not giving you my vote. Even it happens to the slightest economies. You look at the universities, even the institutions are affected by this.
But mind you, these are public funds.
Public funds, taxes being paid by people.
Yes.
At the end of the day, who accounts for the public funds? Do you have proof that these are public funds or they are borrowed monies?
So do you agree with a viewer out there who says that the politicians or the leaders we have in Uganda are not doing what they are supposed to do? Do you agree with that viewer who has that mind?
The leaders are not doing what? Because what do they mean that the leaders are not doing what they have to do? Maybe, let me take, for a case study, the parliamentarians. If a parliamentarian goes to the parliament and sleeps all the time and speaks 2 times, 3 times, then they're not doing what they want to do. Because the word parliament comes from a French word that to mean parler, to speak. So you have sent someone, a representative, there to speak. If you have been observant, there has been an advert running on almost every TV station, I think 2 years back, clearly stating the roles of parliamentarians, not to feed the people at home, the constituencies.
We have 529 parliamentarians. Do you think that number don't you think that number is a lot for a developing country like Uganda? Because each of them is paid over 30 millions per month. Don't you think we can reduce that number and the funds we channel them in other investment ventures?
One of the things you should know is that it's very hard to reduce the numbers of parliamentarians because you have created constituencies to favor the people you want. It's very hard. What happens? What is the right measure? If I look at, as I said, politics goes concurrently with economics. I can have the great numbers, but can I reduce what I give them? Can I stop giving them unnecessary benefits? By unnecessary, I mean giving them 300 million to buy cars per person.
Now, Mr. Challenge, I want you to benchmark on countries with improving economies and look at their political structure. Let's take an example of UK. How many parliamentarians do they have? US. Because we believe we appreciate where we are, but we are not yet where we want to be. Yes. Those countries are above us, and the parliamentarians they have are much lower than ours.
Instead of going to UK, instead of going to US, Why don't you look at a case study of my neighbor from the east, Kenya, for
Yes.
example. How many members of cabinet do they have? 20, 22, 21,
Uganda, we are over 80.
80. How many parliamentarians do they have? So that clearly states to you that it's not about the numbers. It's about the ideas you bring. Kenya's economy thrives far way much above than the one for Uganda, or in the East African country. Not because they have fewer hours, not because they're richer, because they have a seaport, but because they know what they want.
So you're telling Uganda that we don't know what we want?
We know what we want, but we don't know how to get what we want. We want extra benefits. We want benefits that are so much that even if I go out of parliament today, tomorrow I will still be the same person who was at parliament.
Do you believe that politics of Uganda have failed to shape the economy of the country? Do you believe?
If you look at the economy right now, it's standing because we have a good political structure. So I cannot say that the politics has failed to shape. Only that people who are not in love with this politics, especially the private-owned companies and international organizations that are not in love with the political system of the country or with the leadership of this country, have run away. And that is reality. See, not everyone is going to love you. Everyone is going to be on their own stand. They either love you or they don't love you. But at the end of the day, are you going to make sure that everything you do it for the betterment of the country, or for the betterment of yourself, or for the betterment of your home? If you understand clearly that you're working for the public, you're working for the people, then you must be able to ensure that the economy keeps on thriving, even though people keep on rejecting you.
You have appreciated that the government has promoted private sector. In the recent budget, when they are reading, we have seen a lot of foreign investors, I may not mention the name, they are being given opportunities to invest in Uganda. But some Ugandans are being denied deals to also invest in their own country. Do you think Ugandans have freedom to freely invest in their country?
I don't know which son goes to the father to tell the father that I want to, since I have a job and I'm 30 years old, I want to leave the home and rent and run myself because I have the money, and the father says no. The claims that people have been denied work or opportunities to run companies within their own country are more or less like lies.
No, they are saying they are being overtaxed. Now it is almost not affordable to begin a business. Why? When you look at KCCA tax, when you look at very many types of tax that are imposed on them, compared to the tax that is given to foreign investors, are much higher, because foreign investors are being given tax exemptions, they are being given a conducive environment to invest. Yet, a Ugandan with money and willing to invest is being taxed exorbitantly.
I can say, and I can clearly tell you that if we get a private company right now owned by foreigners, and we see how much taxation they pay, and compared to what we pay, then there's no difference. Because you are looking at companies like Nile Breweries, you're looking at companies like Bell, how much taxation do they pay? You're looking at Ugandan-based companies. We have ShopRite that ran out of this country. We have Tuskys that ran away. These are foreign-based companies. They ran away because of the same taxation. Clearly, that indicates to you that if big companies keep on running away from this country, and then we have people like, we have the mega standards or God scares that have been owned by Ugandans for a long period of time, and they're not getting out of business, what does that imply? That means that our taxation system is only feared by the people who feel it is too much.
Our reviewer, our guest is trying to do as much as possible to make sure that he brings or he strikes a balance between politics and economics. But I want us briefly, before we have our parting shots, to help us and discuss the taxation policy of our country. How is our taxation policy? Is it fair? Is it measurable? Is it achievable? Is it up to standard?
Well, you talked about the debt burden.
Yes.
One thing we must agree, that even the money you earn is being taxed. Now, if the money you earn is being taxed, they say, hey, as you
as you earn.
If you are being taxed in such a manner, that clearly indicates that the country is trying to offset one of its biggest budgets. I remember there was a time when the Minister for Finance stated that we shall have to pay 1 point something per person in this country to clear totally our debts.
Yes.
And it amused the economy that each person will pay 1 point something. Yet in reality, well known, and truly know that it's impossible for everyone to pay that money, because there are some people who clearly are below the poverty line. What do you mean poverty line? A person who cannot afford $1 or $2 per day.
So you are telling us that there is a large gap of income disparity.
Very, very big one. There is income inequality.
So meaning our taxation policy is not being very clear to tax the highest, like for example, if we talk of ministers and MPs, then a retail business owner.
Get to the benchmark of what our ministers and politicians are, you clearly find out that MPs are taxed less. Ministers are more or less not to be taxed at the end of the day, because they believe they're serving the nation at a very high capacity. And then you who earns 200,000, 100,000 is being taxed.
I think by the time we are ending the show, finally you are coming to reason with me. Thank you so much for being a lovely guest. And I would like you to give your parting shots to that dear viewer who has been following the discussion right away from the start. Yes, you give us your parting shots.
Thank you so much, my viewer, for being part of this wonderful and intriguing show. I can clearly tell you that our economy and the politics in this country will continue moving forward if we put an effort to make sure it goes the right way. If we put a lot of effort to make sure that our economy is what we want it to be, then it shall be. But if we keep on pointing fingers at each other, at the end of the day, the few who are being pointed fingers at will thrive, and we who are pointing fingers are going to fail. Thank you so much. Please continue working hard and making sure that all ends meet to favor your personal needs every day. Thank you so much for God and my country.
Our fiscal planners, policymakers, and political implementers, I believe you can pick a thing or two. Our lovely viewer, thank you so much for following the discussion. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Tukundane Ivan, and comment. Your feedback is our motivation. Thanks to the management of Infinix Cafe, Capital Shoppers, Tinda. Thank you so much for giving us an opportunity to have our show recorded from here. I remain Ivan Tukundane. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.